Only the Space Marines, descended from the Emperor, refused to worship him as a god, unlike the Imperial Creed. Instead, they venerate him as a pinnacle of human achievement. This refusal often leads to conflicts with the High Church and the Inquisition. At the end of the Horus Heresy, the Emperor's shattered form was interred within the cybernetic mechanisms of the Golden Throne, so that his mind could still have a physical anchor in the material universe, while it extended throughout the warp, eventually encompassing nearly the entire territory of the Imperium of Man. As time passed, the worship of the Emperor became more widespread. By the 32nd millennium, the small cults of Emperor worshippers had merged into the Imperial cult. This cult, with its countless human followers, was overseen by the High Church officials, also known as the Adeptus Ministorum. Thus it was recognized by the High Lords of Terra as the official religion of the Imperium. The Emperor of Mankind, now the God Emperor, rules the Imperium. His will is carried out by the High Lords, enforced by the Arbites, and guarded by the Adeptus Custodes, while the Adeptus Astartes defended the Imperium. The Inquisition, created during the Horus Heresy, protects the Imperium from enemies within and without. Despite the Emperor's protests to worshiping him, the effect of trillions of human beings expressing a deep faith in his divinity has massively empowered the Emperor's mind and soul within the psychically reactive immaterium, where reality is shaped by the collective beliefs and unconscious desires of the galaxy's most populous, intelligent species. The Imperial Creed teaches that far from being a defeat, the confinement of the Emperor within the Golden Throne has allowed his divine spirit to ascend, so that he could guide and protect humanity, no longer confined by the limitations of the flesh. And thus, the skull has become a prevalent insignia in the Imperial iconography and architecture, a symbol of the Emperor's sacrifice. Whatever he was been before the Horus Heresy, the Emperor now truly is a god within the warp, equal in power to any one of the 4 major Chaos gods, or even as powerful as all 4 Chaos gods combined. Even though his body is in a terrible state, more like a corpse than a man, as long as the Golden Throne can keep even the slightest hint of his life functions, he has become the strongest spiritual force against the forces of chaos in the Milky Way galaxy. He will be able to remain present in the warp. He guides and directs the psychic beacon called the Astronomicon, which is crucial for the Imperium's trade, defense, and communications. However, his mind must consume the life energies of 1,000 human psychers every day to power the beacon. The Emperor's powerful mind is projected and amplified in the Immaterium by the mysterious mechanisms of the Golden Throne, guiding and maintaining the psychic beacon of the Astronomicon. Despite his current decayed condition, the Emperor can still communicate his wishes to select psychers through the medium of the Emperor's tarot. He can also communicate through direct dreams and visions to select non-psychic human beings, whose faith in him is strong. The Emperor can also provide a number of psychic protections against the powers of chaos and its demons through the connection of faith. And so, it is believed that the warp storm known as the Storm of the Emperor's Wrath, which appeared in the Ultima Segmentum during the Age of Apostasy in the 36th millennium, was directly created by the will of the Emperor. This was the incarnate effect of his anger over the usurpation of the Imperium's government by the tyrant High Lord Gog Vandir. It is also believed that the Emperor's might within the warp directly holds the power of chaos at bay, and if the Emperor were to be absent from the Immaterium, chaos would break through the physical boundaries of the universe, transforming the entire galaxy into a realm of insanity and horror. It is also known to a very few among the highest ranks of the Inquisition that within the throne room in the Imperial Palace, the Sanctum Imperialis, the Emperor possesses the power to directly manipulate reality, including the ability to relatively slow or even stop the flow of time. And yet, the God Emperor is a tormented soul, He is horrified by what his Imperium has become over the last 10,000 years in the wake of the terrible wounds inflicted by the Horus Heresy and the threats to humanity from chaos and the traitors within. The age of the Imperium has not brought about the golden age of mankind that the Emperor had envisioned. Instead, it has brought stability at the expense of technological stagnation, intellectual regression, political repression, constant exploitation of the majority by the minority, intense prejudice against people, and harsh religious intolerance. All the evils of humanity that the Emperor had hoped to bring to an end have only proliferated during the 10,000 Terran years that the Imperium has ruled the human race in his name. Yet the Emperor endures in his endless pain, knowing that his death would cripple the Imperium and deny humanity the guidance and the protection against chaos. The Emperor fears that without him, humanity will not survive. For this reason, despite all its imperfections, he allows the Imperium to endure in its degraded state, placing his final hopes on his still enduring sons.